Hi.
Hi.
So, who are you?
I am Marie Thérèse Ukpo. I am 28 and I'm the founder and creative director and everything else of 7 by Marie Thérèse.
Okay, that was a good intro. I'd also like to add that Marie is one of the most beautiful girls in Lagos.
I mean,
How does that make you feel to hear? But do you know that you're one of the most beautiful
no,
girls in
I
Lagos?
don't.
Lies. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Look at her, she's stunning.
That is crazy. Thank you. I'll accept it.
As we should. So that's who you are. So what is 7 by Marie Thérèse?
Wow. Okay. So it is, I guess, my romanticized view of my world. Like it's kind of like my therapy. Like it'll always be like in one way or another a reflection of like my past, my present, and like my dreams for the future. So it's always
Wow.
like, yeah, it's definitely like a personal journey that I'm on. So it's great.
And you're expressing all of this through clothing.
Well, I think I think one of the best revelations about like fashion is that it doesn't really have much to do with clothing. Like clothing is like the end result. It's like this sprinkle on the cake, but like there's so much depth to it. So yeah, it's definitely beyond clothing. For me, fashion is the I guess the final result of like so much depth and I guess so much backstory. At least for me anyway. So yeah, 7 is going to be like much more than clothing. I really want to kind of do many things. So yeah.
Okay, so that leads me to my next question, 7. Like, why 7? Like, why not
8.
6?
So I think I was like midway in the design process and I thought to myself, well, I need a name because I need to register this business and start making all these like legal documents and stuff. And I wanted the name to come to me. I didn't want to go searching for it, you know. So I literally like just went to bed thinking about what I should name my brand and like the name 7 kept on popping in my head. And I woke up the next day and I was like, really? Because I was born on the 7th, like, is that the reason why I should name my, and I'm already like naming it myself as well. So it's just a bit too much.
Right?
So, but the name just honestly didn't leave my head. I went in the shower, I was still thinking about it, and I thought, you know what, it has a nice ring to it. So let me just keep it for now. And plus, like, it's a mysterious number, like, you know, it's a lucky number. Let's just stick with it. And it wasn't until I think I was done with my entire design process, I decided to research like the symbolism of the number 7, and I saw spiritual growth and solitude, and I just thought, well, that's why my brand is 7, and I didn't even realize it at the time.
That is so cool. And I love that you had already started the design process, which goes to show that you're actually really passionate about it. Because I would have thought that, like, if it was me, right? And I was going to do a clothing brand. I'm going to wake up like, yeah, I'm going to do a clothing brand today, and it's going to be called
Yeah.
Premium Pie.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then what can I now do to fix?
Let me go on Instagram and see what.
see.
Yeah.
So the fact that you actually had started designing and you hadn't even thought of the name yet, that's so beautiful. Like, it shows that you're actually really passionate about it, and I love to see it, sis.
Thank you. I didn't even realize that like it meant anything.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Exactly.
So, how did you enter the fashion industry in the first place? Like, what inspired you? Have you always been like super fashionable, always like the flyest kid in your classroom, birthday outfit shut down?
That is a fact, yes.
Okay.
No, but yeah, for as long as I've known myself, I've always been very drawn to fashion. I remember like watching endless like red carpets and like being really obsessed with the designers that the celebrities were wearing and stuff like that. So when it was time for me to move to England to continue my studies, I made sure I went to a school that offered, an A-level college that offered fashion and textiles. So I went to CCSS, and I think that's when my love affair with fashion really started. Before, it was like, okay, I'm interested in it, but I don't really love it. And I think one of the coolest things about studying fashion is when you just you unlearn everything you think you know about fashion. And it was the best experience ever, because that's when I discovered that like fashion had very little to do with clothing. Like, it's influenced by religion, by liberation, by politics, by the weather, by so many different elements. And there's so much thought that goes into everything. And I remember like studying designers like Vivienne Westwood and like the punk movement and like just so much knowledge. And I just felt like, honestly, like Harry Potter's first time at like Diagon Alley or something like that. Literally, I just felt like, oh my god, like this is the world that I'm meant to be in.
I love a good Harry Potter reference, but carry on, that's my stuff.
Okay, so I spent like 2 years like learning about patterns and how fabrics are made and how, you know, to choose the right fibers and colors and all of this. And I don't think you need to spend endless years like learning about the design aspect of fashion.
Right.
So moving on to uni, I went to Regent University London, and I spent 2 years studying fashion marketing, took a gap year, studied luxury brand management, came back, finished my 4-year degree, and then so I mean, I dedicated like 7 to 8 years just about learning about fashion. So clearly, like, it's something that I'm very passionate about and something I'm very curious about. So yeah.
That's amazing. I love that you actually learned not just about clothing and textiles while you were at CCSS, but then even like luxury marketing and the business of fashion. Fashion marketing. Fashion marketing, like
luxury
so
brand management.
Everything relating to fashion you've kind of studied, which is insane.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel discouraged now because I just decided to do my own premium pie line.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't feel like I can because
you didn't study
because
fashion.
I didn't study fashion.
Mean,
so
wow.
I feel discouraged in your presence. So thank you.
Oh my goodness.
That.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's fine. I will do other things and I'll be fine. But speaking of like studying and stuff, how supportive were your parents?
My parents are the coolest. Like, I think what I love about them is that they're genuinely like so curious about us. Like, they want to get to know us. They don't force their views onto us. And so yeah, when I said I wanted to study fashion, I mean, it wasn't even a conversation. They were like, okay, yeah, sure, you know, and they're like, I want to see pictures, like, what's going on, what are your classes like?
That's amazing.
That's more, I think the grief that I got were from like, you know, my peers, you know, they were all like, so your parents allowed you to study fashion? You know, they were making all these comments, and I just used to be like, let me stay in my lane, you stay in your architecture or your medicine, whatever, like, okay. And
economics.
And what happened? Like, how many years later, with your law degree, you're here doing the same thing? So, you know, like, I think people always mock what they don't understand. So, like, I don't think I've ever really cared about anyone's opinions. But I think if my parents weren't supportive, I mean, knowing how rebellious I am, I probably would have gone ahead and done it anyway. Okay. But they're so cool about it. Like, they're really excited for me. And, like, I think even after I graduated, they were quite surprised that I didn't just, like, dive into fashion. So they've always been like, so when is this happening? So, yeah.
So why didn't you dive into fashion, like, straight away? Because it's been 5 years since you graduated, Abby.
I don't even know. I don't know. I have no idea.
So why did it take that long? Because I too, like mommy and daddy Ukpo, would have assumed they, like, straight out of uni, it's like, okay, I'm now ready.
Well, I definitely wasn't ready. Okay, I'm gonna start by saying that I definitely am doing this in God's time, for sure.
Amen.
Like, for sure.
Okay.
Like, there's so many reasons why this is the perfect time, but the truth is, like, I mean, at the time, I didn't even realize it was happening, but the closer and closer and closer I got to my graduation date, the further I pulled back from fashion. And I got very defensive when people would ask me, like, okay, so when are you starting? Or like, what's your plan when you move back? I just used to be very dismissive.
Right.
And, well, like, now that I look back, it's very obvious to me that I was just really afraid. Because I was so emotionally invested in it that I thought that, like, okay, if this doesn't work out, like, I'm gonna like go crazy, you know, like, so I decided to kind of take the safer route, and it's been very distracting, you know. For the past couple of years, I've been working really hard. I have definitely experienced like many successes that have been very distracting, but I think like at some point in 2019 there was just a big shift, and I just felt really uncomfortable in my career, and I just felt like, okay, like if I carry on doing this, like in 10 years I'm just going to wake up and just be filled with regret. So I think then and there I just decided, okay, I'm going to launch my fashion line, and I actually don't care what the outcome is. You know, obviously I want it to be a big success, but you know, I'm no longer afraid of it not being a success, because I know that like even if I fail, I'm gonna keep on going, because like this is where I'm meant to be. So yeah, I mean, I just started. I didn't know what the process was going to be like. I didn't know how I was going to fund it. I literally had no knowledge, but I just kind of kept it pushing. I just honestly feel like God has just been like holding my hand and like dragging me through the entire process, and it kind of feels like an out of body experience. It doesn't really feel like I'm the one doing anything. So yeah.
That's that passion.
That's that passion.
That's that passion. No, but the thing I love about your whole journey through this is that you were scared to start, and then you got to a point where you were scared to not start. Like, what would the rest of my life look like if I don't do this, right? So pick your scared, right?
Exactly.
That was deep, man.
That was deep.
Wasn't that a good one?
What kind of Oprah situation is this?
Period.
Pick your fears. Okay.
That's the thing. So if you need, you know what? I'm gonna start a talk show. You've inspired me.
You're so good at it. Honestly.
Thank you.
God, yes.
So now I've ditched the fashion line. I'm gonna focus on this. Is amazing. I'm so good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I hope I'm your first guest.
We have to do this again.
Yeah, we have to.
Okay, so you had mentioned one of your fears being funding. Mary, how did you fund this line? Do you have an OnlyFans?
I do. I secretly have one.
I knew it.
It's been a lot of dropping it like it's hot.
Shaking it. For how long did you have to do?
I had to do it only for 2 months. You know, like I built quite a following, so it's been a great experience.
Congratulations.
It's the Lord's doing.
Won't He do it? Amen. Apart from that.
No, but honestly, like I'm so proud to say that this is a self-funded project. Like I feel like it's such a flex, because yes, I definitely would not have been able to do that had I just started when I moved back. I would have definitely been running to my dad for every single expense, which would have been quite comfortable. But I quite like the fact that I'm making all these financial decisions without having to consult anyone and explain to anyone why I'm making them. So it's been a very freeing, like liberating experience, and I'm very proud. But yeah,
you should be proud.
I don't know if you know, but I run a luxury travel concierge agency called
You do? What's it called?
Sophie Travel.
Okay.
And you know, it's not a bad job. You know, the pay is decent. I've been able to save, and yeah, that's. I mean, it hasn't always been easy though. Like, luckily for me, I didn't have to just make like one bulk payment. Like at the beginning, it's been like one invoice after the other, one payment after the other. I remember when I got my final invoice for my pre-production pieces and my bulk production pieces, and I saw the number and I was like, I don't have this right now. You know, and I felt really defeated in that moment. Like, you know, like what do I do? Like, do I send an email to my dad? What do I do? So I did send him an email, and then I sent my team an email just saying, hey, look, I've gotten the invoice and I just don't have it right now. Can we put together some kind of payment plan or something? Because I don't have it right now, but I will have it in like a month or a couple of weeks. And they reached back out to me and said, okay, yeah, sure, we'll get back to you in a couple of days with a payment plan. And before they could get back to me, I had made the full payment. You know, I had something come in and I just made the payment. I remember just sitting there like, what did I just do? Did I just like, what? Like, I'm such a babe. Like, what? Did I just really just pay for this whole thing? So yeah, I mean, it's honestly a very freeing experience to do something for once, like on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a big girl move, and I love to see it.
Yeah.
Better flex, I flex. She paid for this whole
honestly,
thing herself.
No, it's such a flex.
It is. No, I love it. Well done to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And shout out to my parents, obviously, for always like cushioning me as well.
That's always nice to have that support.
Yeah. It's always good to have a cushion, because if I was like funding every aspect of my life on my own, probably this would not have been so easy.
So shout out to Mommy and Daddy Ukpo. We appreciate you. Okay, so when I start like my talk show, for sure I'm not going to be able to fund it by myself. I just want you to know. So if you have any spare funds, you can please.
I mean, I can teach you the OnlyFans way.
You know, I have 3 children. I don't know if anyone will be interested in my OnlyFans like that.
Oh, it could be like a mom.
Okay, like a mom, like niche type thing. Yeah. Okay. And she's still cute.
She's still very cute. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you. That's a good tip. So, what inspired the Ether collection?
What inspired the Ether collection? First of all, it's such a cool name.
Isn't it? Is it like I'm gonna take it back, like the Ether, you know, like the diss track Nas.
Yeah, I'm a huge Nas fan, and that's what inspired. I'm joking. I know I am a huge Nas fan.
Oh, okay. I was about to be like, I'm old soul.
There is no relation. Ether is kind of like a Greek way of describing heaven. It's like they call it the air that Olympians breathe.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, but you know, I named all my pieces, like all my pieces are like related to nature. You know, their names like full moon and aurora and sunny, you know. So I think the name just kind of came from that, like heaven sends, like, you know, the vibes are just kind of like, it's not in my power. It's basically what I'm, I guess, subconsciously like inspired by. So yeah.
That's
but yeah. So what inspired the collection?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my dad is from Cross River. My mom is from Delta State, so I'm a full like South baby.
Okay.
And I was telling you just like earlier today how like I feel like I've lived in a bubble for so long that it wasn't until recently that I started to realize that people of the Niger Delta region are often very overlooked and dismissed and mocked. And I thought, well, that's such a shame, because I feel like we have like such vibrant cultures and music and food, and our vibes are always just so pure, and you know, we have this like effortless way of living and thinking, and we're always the life of the party. Like I always say, like no one can outdrink anyone from the South, period.
That's true.
Yeah. And
I've tried.
You've tried and failed. Yeah. So, and we're so smart and we're so talented, just like everyone else. So, you know, I think why shouldn't we be included as equals in the conversation about people who are talented in this country, you know? So I really wanted to capture that effortless sex appeal that I believe that like the modern Niger Delta woman has. I really wanted to kind of have that be a recurring theme in my collection. And I think I really did a good job in like capturing that, like I just threw this on, I'm just naturally sexy, I don't even have to try vibe.
Okay, love that.
Yeah, and I did that like using 90s inspired silhouettes. So like the 90s definitely is my favorite era for fashion,
Same.
for movies,
Music
like
as well.
popular culture, like everything. And I was designing this collection in 2020, so when everyone was feeling like hella nostalgic and stuff. So I was watching all these like old, like noughties, like music videos, and so I had all these like things in my head, like okay, like this set I'm wearing, like the Journey set, this is what like in the music videos, this is what she would wear when she's like sick of her guy and she's like packing all her jewelry and her like scarves into like her Louis Vuitton luggage.
Period.
And then like the full moon, like she's just like lounging around in her house, overdressed for no reason, of course, like jewelry, everything drippy, and she's just like reminiscing about like, should I go or should I stay? and then the sunny dress, the white one. She can wear that to like an all-white party, and like that's where he comes to be like, hey, can we talk?
And she's like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Like, what are we doing? And then there are these like flashbacks of like the first date in like the Aurora dress,
right?
Or like them shopping in like the Heaven Sent pieces.
Beautiful.
So like my head was just like, you know, I really missed that like sophistication that all those video vixens had in those old videos. Like they were like bad bitches.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and people were like looking forward to seeing them in the next video and stuff. You don't have that anymore.
No.
So yeah, definitely a mix of just capturing the essence of a Niger Delta young woman, and also kind of really tapping into that like effortless sex appeal, minimalism, like sophistication that like the 90s had. And it's beyond clothing. Like, you know, I think my love for everyone is reflected in everything that I do. Like, I don't care whether you're whatever. So I've worked with literally everyone from everywhere, but I also made it a point to work with people from the Niger Delta region so that I could showcase their talents. Like my photographer, Bruce, who is amazing. My social media team, the Meji Girls, they're amazing. My web designer, Bruma, he's amazing. You know, me, I'm amazing.
Fabulous.